How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all doing really well. So it's obviously another not so good day for Muln Automotive. The stock's hit a new all-time low. We've fallen below the 12-cent mark, and that's after adjusting for these two reverse stock splits we've had this year. So it's been a big fall from grace. Yeah, it's not totally surprising given Friday we've got a meeting where there's a very strong likelihood, I'm saying like a high probability, that there is going to be a reverse stock split passed through voting motion. And, that's going to obviously sow further, lack of confidence in the stock, I guess you could say. And it's not totally unexpected that this is where we've come to. The stock's been plagued all year with, issues around the board and the management of, the company's finances, and also the prospects of being an upstart company in the EV sector. Now, I read a recent article, I think it was by a publication called Invez, and they talked about the general EV scene, and they spoke about Ford and General Motors, that they've both, reduced their production goals for EV vehicles, largely pinned to demand. So there is some, slowing of the industry clearly going on. Obviously, part of that could be the fact that times are getting a little bit tighter. We've got higher cost of living, though that is starting to come down. But it is hurting the EV sector. Locally, I can also talk about something that's happened. The government in my country are actually expanding their luxury vehicle tax to include a number of EVs, something that didn't happen before. So while they were very pro go green with your cars, they're now basically going to be starting to punish people who drive, I don't actually, maybe not pure play EVs, it might be more so hybrid style cars. Larger hybrid style cars are going to classify as luxury cars. It's just like a family vehicle, like mine. Stupid. Although I've already bought it, so it's fine. I don't have to pay the tax. Anyway, so point of making, there is a slowing demand for EVs at the moment. Now, in terms of Mullen Automotive, I do want to share some thoughts on what I think could be a scenario where we might actually see a bit of return in value to the stock post this reverse stock split. I don't see anything meaningful coming before Friday's vote. But, given that we are very likely to have a reverse stock split, the company can go either one of two ways. It can either go have a small sort of reverse stock split and do as minimal as possible, which in the short term would be preserving shareholder value. I think, we're sitting at about 11.5 to 12 cents per share. They'll have to do at least a 9 or 10 for 1 stock split just to push it back above $1. My thoughts are that if they do that, we're going to see a continued downward trend for the stock. There's going to be more downward pressure, and yeah, that's what's going to happen there. Now, if they go the other option and go a large reverse stock split, they will, clear out a lot of liquidity in the stock and get the stock actually significantly back above the $1 mark. If they were to do a 100 for 1 reverse stock split, that would take the stock price to about $12 based on the current price that we're seeing. And that's obviously a big fall from. It'll take a long way to go down to get back to below $1. Not saying it can't happen, but it would actually keep the stock above and allow it to at least regain NASDAQ listing compliance. Now, if that's the case, I think we could possibly see a bit of a short-term bounce in the stock. I'm not going to say this with any certainty because nothing's certain with this stock, and generally sentiments point to further downward pressure. There's just like a lot of erosion in value here. But if they go high with the reverse stock split, it's going to shore up the minds of investors that yes, the stock's actually going to stay on the NASDAQ at least for the short term, because it's going to take a lot to bring the stock back down to below the $1 mark and get it back on the NASDAQ radar. So that's the one scenario where they could, actually see some return in value. However, if they announce a big reverse stock split, it will clean up a lot of long-term holders of the stock who haven't, either dollar cost averaged down or, been buying more as the stock has been split. So there is a scenario where there could possibly be a bit of a bounce, but the reality is if they do any sort of reverse stock split, I kind of expect there to be, some real instant selling off straight away, and even leading up to the reverse split as people just flee from the stock. You can't blame them. A lot of people who've held the stock and have gone to, maybe put $1,000 in, and their holding is worth, under 50 cents now. That's how devastating it's been to hold this stock. So yeah, just kind of a scenario where I thought there could be what could play out and we could get at least a short-term bounce. But there is, in that Invest article I was mentioning before, there was actually even talk that the company might need to raise equity again next year, and doing that in a, post reverse split, triple reverse split scenario is, just going to really erode shareholder value. Um, it's it's not a good scene. David Mitchell earlier this year said that there won't be any more equity raisings for this year, but that he has not closed it off for next year. And given that they are burning through over $100 million in cash or assets, or accruing over $100 million in debt per quarter, the company needs to actually probably get more money. Like, even though they've got like a somewhat good balance sheet at the moment, they're not bringing in as much cash as they need to start actually becoming a cash flow positive company at present. But hopefully, fingers crossed, that can change. We just need to get more orders happening. We need to see more development for the company on that side. That's my thoughts. I don't normally like to be too critical of YouTubers, but I was watching Business Dad earlier this morning, and he was talking about how he's waiting for a bit of a bounce to make 100% of his money. That's really high risk things to try and call out and tell people that he can do that. I wouldn't be putting too much credence in such a move. If there is some sort of rally where the stock doubles, given what the business is looking at in the future, I don't see it being a long lasting one. So if you try to jump onto that, you might be jumping on too late. So just, obviously it's your money, do what you want, but I wouldn't be looking too closely at anything where someone's trying to give you a buying signal. Sometimes that can be a bit of a, not saying that he's doing that, but it could be the start of a pump and dump sort of scenario. So you've got to be wary of that sort of stuff too. Don't jump on a stock just for the momentum. Do a bit of research, try and work out what's going to happen with it all. Anyway, just a couple of thoughts this morning. I've just finished at the gym. It's Thursday here. It's Wednesday for most people who are going to be watching this video. But yeah, till next time, everyone. May the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.